Good afternoon, Sunday afternoon. I just heard a little girl by the name of Maria, probably not old, and the Fox News lady asked ask her what would you say? You have 30 seconds. She ended up giving her just about a minute. And that Maria lady, she said she's in the Ukraine and she's living day to day. And the Ukrainian people apparently are on the verge of starvation and dehydration and the horrors of war. And so when asked by the Fox News lady, what would you say? Whatever you want. You have 30 seconds. And Maria, she started. And she said that she wanted to thank the United States of America for the kindness. And she wanted to give a message to President Biden. And this showed the heart of the lady in the tumult of war, in the horror of watching people be hungry, cold, all those things. And she said, President Biden, she said, Zelensky had asked President of the Ukraine, had asked for Biden to be a man of peace and to do something that would give him cause to be remembered by the world as having accomplished something. And that's what Putin wants, is to be remembered in good light by the world, not as we recognize the world, but as Putin recognizes the world as being Russia. I think it is USSR. I've said for many years that we live today with the privilege and the honor and the opportunity of doing something whereby we will be remembered for some good. The United States of America, they are a people who care. They care about the Ukraine. They care about the aggression of Putin. They care about their own borders that are undefended. They care about their own economy. They care about their own oil, fossil fuel independence. And they watch this one called Biden in his abject immorality of behavior. I am not a learned man. I'm not. I watched just prior to this about Putin using a hypersonic missile. Hypersonic, 5 times the speed of sound. I grew up shooting a 300, a 308 Parker Hale, Norma Magnum shot. The way I loaded the bullets, I could get 3,200 feet a second out of it. I've used a 300 Weatherby Magnum for 20 years, just in the same neck of the woods for speed. Now, Putin used a hypersonic missile launched from a jet, and it goes over 5,000 feet a second. And he had that hit a military base, airfield, 50 miles from Poland. And you have to understand something. The NATO countries, the U.S., especially Biden, I hope he runs out of ice cream soon. Perhaps gets a little hungry. Somebody avoids giving him water so that he can relate a little tiny bit to the women and children in the Ukraine who are doing without, not by their choice, in great part by Biden's choice. You see, when a man and or a woman is truly weakened, they cannot stand against evil. When I'm wore out, I'm too tired, I'm too exhausted, I screw up. Never happens at work. But it does happen here in front of this little video, because here you may not understand, but I take my heart, my whole heart, spirit, soul, and I put it into what I'm saying, and it's much harder than work. So much harder than work. And I try to remember the people in my life who are so important to me. And it's not hard, because I can't get them out of my mind. I choose not to. That's a nutritionist I met one time. It's another man that I respected so much. His first name was Vlad, and he loves the Lord. And he said, Jim, I hope one day you will find peace. And I thought, Vlad, I think I have, but I hadn't. I didn't know that I hadn't. That nutritionist one time, she taught me about fear, and I was convinced. I've known fear, and I have, but she taught me an aspect of it I had no comprehension. I will never forget either of those two characters, Vlad and the nutritionist. I will never forget this Ukrainian war. I refuse to forget it. But I'll tell you this, you vote, you are voting for a party, but you are also voting for the figurehead of that party. And if Biden down in the States were half the man that Donald Trump is, or Stephen Harper up here, or Benjamin Netanyahu over in Israel, Biden wouldn't be off at his weekend retreat having an ice cream, avoiding any opportunity of speaking to anyone because he screws up. Everything he does is a screw up. everything he says. Do the opposite. It'll turn out better. He's never said anything right yet. And he's never said anything honest either. He says, we're going to break off buying oil from Russia. Well, the United States of America still buying oil from Russia, still giving them $20 million a day, pocket change, yeah. But everything that Biden says fundamentally is wrong. There's not a semblance of truth to it. Because when politicians get used to people acting indifferently to what they say, they become over self-indulgent. And that's where Biden is. Also his mental acuity. Many people have spoken about Putin being crazy. I don't think he's crazy. I believe he is obsessed with his delusion of who he is and what he wants. Return Soviet Russia to the greatness of the USSR. Biden, he just wants to eat his ice cream cone because the number of people in the States, 60, 70% at least, want him to have a mental acumen test, cognitive test, in order to ascertain how far gone is he. Because the people in the world, the politicians in the world, a lot of them now won't even accept his phone calls. You vote. Yeah, vote for a party that stands for something. But you vote for a leader who is not too old, not too stupid, not too evil, not too political, but someone who will speak the truth and say it not only as they perceive it or wish it to be, but will actually speak the truth. So here's a terrible statement. It's horrifying. The United States, they have wanted these hypersonic missiles. Now, because Putin has gone and used one, now they're going to get a lot of money in order to develop one. Can you imagine? Can you imagine a leader in the world, Putin, used an experimental missile in a time of war and dropped it only 50 miles from Poland? You study Putin. You study his goals, aims, ambitions. You'll realize that he does not want to lose. He won't lose. He will not. It's not allowed. Will he use another hypersonic? Of course he will. I mean, especially if Joe Biden keeps sending him $20 million a day for oil that the United States doesn't need because they have their own. But Biden won't let it be developed because it might interfere with his Green New Deal. Electric cars. Delusional. Delusional thought that one country, the United States of America, Canada, can affect less damage being done to the earth through global warming if the U.S. and Canada shuts down their economy by trying to switch to some stupid new Green Deal. Biden believes it. It's staggering, children. It's staggering. I live in Fort McMurray, Alberta, Canada. We're busy cleaning up the world's greatest known oil spill, the greatest natural oil spill known to mankind. It's called the tar sands. It's called Fort Mac, Fort Hills. That's what we're doing. And we really wanted a pipeline called the Keystone Pipeline that would take our oil, our heavy oil, and send it all the way down to Louisiana at really reasonable prices, and the Americans could convert it into fuel. Our natural gas, we have so much. In the States, they have so much. Biden's not going to allow that to happen. He is probably just, while he sucks on his ice cream cone, he's probably just praying, oh, let Putin inadvertently attack Poland. Because then our world agenda will proceed. You may well not have understood that Xi Jinping, Putin, Biden, Iran, Trudeau, they all believe, and they do, that there are too many people on earth. The sooner you kill off a whole bunch of them, the better the economy will be when you turn it around. As Justin Trudeau said, his hero was Xi Jinping, the Chinese Communist Party. He said because the Chinese Communist Party can turn their economy around on a dime, but it turns on the blood of women and children. Over there in China, it's called Wiggins. Over here, with Trudeau, it's called anyone who wants freedom. Putin says he's going to do a cleansing in Soviet Russia. He is going to cleanse and purge anyone who disagrees with him. Children of the earth, wake up, children. You have gone and elected leaders that are not deserving of your vote. And you are in deep crap. Hey, that's the way I see it. Would you rather have someone speak the truth to you than a politician who just says, everything's okay, everything's okay, everything's okay, when it's not? You know it's not. Women and children dying, starving, dehydrated, whatever, in the Ukraine. It's not okay. Politicians are lying to you. That's what they do. That's what they do. It is what they do. Pray, eh? God bless.